Welcome to my channel, and here we go with the workshop. I'm still going to crimp some more of the edges in a class on the next meeting of the Cypress Lakes Bonsai Club. I'll draw back now to show what I cut off the original piece. Here's a round pot that I made. One of the students made this today. They were in this class.
Now, everybody just have your seats and relax, and let me run my mouth for a minute. Now, the process that I started this last year, I started with this big one over here, and you can come around and take a look at these a little bit later as we're talking. But the first one, I used a whole different technique than I did with these final ones, which the final ones all have this wire mesh running through it. And but the first one was actually made in a box with sand. And when I got halfway through it, it broke in half. So then I had to add reinforcement to it, so it doubled in its size. Now it's not really super heavy, but I like it. It works. And now the next one that I made was this one. Now this is made with the wire mesh. And you see how flat it is on the bottom? This one has a single layer of the wire mesh running through it. And I used perlite in the concrete mix with, it was a mortar mix actually that has a lot of sand in it. And it, along with this one here, basically the same construction at the same time. It's all on film, and I've been studying this one, determining what I would do when I repot it. Basically, I'm going to remove the moss and rake out the roots and then bring the soil line right up to the edge of it. I think it would actually look better and try to bring the level down a little bit. But you can see how strong it is. So that was the next stage in the game. And then I decided I would try to do something in a round shape. Now this is a double construction in the wire mesh, and that's what I use these days. You see the legs on there, and you can actually see a root from the yucca coming through. If you look hard enough, I can't dump it out on it. What failed me on this one was the paint. When I started painting them, I was using a black spray paint, and then I was overlaying it with house paint. Well, the black spray paint was made for something totally different than putting on concrete, so it decided it wanted to actually fade off. This here is the mold that I used for this one over here. It was just a single layer. It all shows up in the film. Now the next one that came along was this particular one. Now this is a double layer mesh. And then the last one that I made was this, what they call a clamshell. And I actually made a larger one than this that Dave actually purchased. So there's a lot of different things that could be made. Now, when we went to Wagner's and I actually did a film recently, I paid $45 for this pot. I saw pots there that cost well over $1,000. Some big pots that cost $3,000. But when you consider the price, labor is the big thing with this. But there's no more than $5 investment between the concrete and the metal. This one might be a little bit more. And of course, as you keep getting bigger, a little bit more. This one actually, because of a single layer of wire mesh, when I turned it over, it actually cracked. So it became thicker than I wanted. Now, both Ron and Dave bought 2 long slabs from me that were super thin, because not only did I use a double layer of the mesh, but I put reinforcement rods through it. So it became very strong. Now today, I brought some mesh, and started one of these. This is going to be what I call a mini slab. And I decided to go ahead and put some bamboo in there. Now Ron, he doesn't think bamboo is a very good idea because eventually the moisture will get in there and corrode that. But it's so small, I don't think it's going to make a big difference because the concrete is going to form around that bamboo.
It would take a long time, I think, for it to degrade anyway.
Yeah, a good thing about using the wire mesh is that you don't have to make you don't have to make holes in it because all you have to do is leave some of the concrete out of the way and you don't have to worry about doing the concrete. And you can use pliers to actually do some of the work. This is what I do on the edges. And this is what I'm trying to get you guys to try a little bit of it today. We just bend them over and then come back the other way. Bend it down. What this does, it actually helps reinforce the unit. And you can make all kinds of shapes. Everything was done with pliers. And I'm always trying to bring my things to a point here. And when you double them over, everything gets strengthened. And you don't have to worry about what it really looks like because the concrete is going to hide everything. And once the concrete slab gets planted on, that also actually helps to hide anything that you might have had where you went wrong. So this was the only part of the thing I was going to demonstrate was this little finishing up of this because I'd already finished this. Now this slab is about a $10 investment. Another one that I started that I want to get somebody to finish today is a regular round pot, which is actually 2 pieces of metal. This part of the metal, which is a double layer, was the end of this. So, and this was a 6-inch piece that I cut off this roll and doubled over. Gives it that extra thing. And then I was worried about how long I had made these. Do I need to fold them over? I said, no, all I need to do is actually get it in here and get it to where that it actually goes up into the bottom of the pot so the legs don't look that long after all, depending on how you go in there. Now what we will do with that, we'll take this galvanized wire and actually attach these to that. And if you look closely, you can see that one of the edges doesn't quite meet up with it. You don't really have to worry about that either, because when you go to put the concrete in there, you can put another little piece of metal in there. You don't want to throw anything away. You take a piece of that, just put in over there, fill it in with the concrete, and then you got it cleared up. And that unit there, just recently, it was 9 months ago that YouTube says the one, and everybody's been watching that one lately. But if you want to do one of these, let me know.
Well, I'm back home now and I'm adding the first coat of concrete to this wire mesh. Notice the little dowel rod there. That's how I make my drain holes. Basically, I just skip over it with the concrete. I'll make a second one here in a second. But I sped this film up because it's not very nice to sit through something like this. Not me, at least. After the last time of using concrete and dealing with little chunks, I decided that I would sift the concrete before I started to mix it. Well, we're going to approach the other side now. And this is the rest that I have to go on that. I call this chocolate. And here's this after some struggles. Well, ended day 2, and I'm way ahead on the round one, trying to pick up on the mesh screen. Here's the other side of the slab, looking really good.
Working yet?
Yeah, what do you think? Finding it easy to do?
Yeah.
So you're Mike and your husband is Steve?
Yes.
Okay, I got it now. It's so easy to forget names.
Oh yeah.
Well, Mike is putting on the first coat. Once he gets around the edges, I'm going to interrupt him again. Thank you for watching the film. I'd like to give special thanks to Dave Clark for his handling of the camera at the meeting. Here's a couple of my almost finished products. These pictures off of Facebook that inspired me to do better. And here is my very first slab that I made. Well, until next time, enjoy the videos. Thank you very much for watching.